Hello, welcome. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery here. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I want to talk to you about a theory that there are three centers that make decisions for us, three brains, if you like. And I want to talk to them because one of the things that I found with working with clients is that they store information in at least three places and probably even more. Very often, as I'm talking to them, they may talk about the thoughts in their head. They may talk about a gut feel. And for many others, a heart-centered approach. And I just want to talk about those three areas and just help you understand that some people are not like you, or that actually where you are is absolutely okay. Everyone knows about the thinking brain. We know what it does, and we know that it's right, it's right there, right in the moment. But when we start talking about the heart brain or the gut brain, a little bit more woolly. For me, the gut brain is pretty much the seat of our unconscious mind. It's where all our emotions are primarily stored, not entirely. As I say, everybody is different. Some people feel their emotions in their heart, and those who are a bit like me don't do emotions very well. They do them, but they don't acknowledge them. They do them in their head. So it's not a fixed thing, but very often you'll hear people sort of talking about their gut and tuning into their gut and listening to their gut. It's the instinctual side of us. It's that primal side about keeping us safe. So when that sort of thing is going on, it's in the gut area. And when we talk about people who wear their heart on their sleeve, they're pretty much, leading from the heart, then that is another place where potentially a third brain may reside. So why am I telling you this? Because there are a larger number of people who have started to recognize that we've lived in an IQ world for a long time. A world where we're told what to think, how to think it, where we are measured constantly. Just think our weight, our height, our ability to learn, our ability to be able to get an interview or get certain jobs or make progress, how much we're earning. So many logical ways of putting us in boxes, basically. And that's not wrong. It's just not balanced. Our society has almost cut off anything to do with our emotional content. And yet it's at the emotional level that we are seeing many more mental challenges coming through, particularly during this lockdown year of 2020. And I don't know about you, but I recognize that from a young age, my emotional intelligence was blocked down, closed down. You didn't do emotions. Stop crying. Pull yourself together. And certainly in school, because my IQ wasn't fully developed, and I don't know why I thought it should be, I was considered slow or thick or some other derogatory term, which you may identify with. It was just unfortunate, really. I was not really the person who did well in the typical IQ subjects of science and maths. I was much better in the social side of things, the social sciences and, history, geography. So if you're one of those who is much more in tune with how you're feeling, how the people around you are feeling, it's okay. That's exactly where you needed to be. And your IQ, there's nothing wrong with your IQ. It's just that it's coming from a slightly different place, and you just need a little bit longer to be who you need to be. And then there are those who live from the heart brain. Those who get hurt easily and are often called sensitive by their IQ colleagues because, they're not working the same way. it doesn't mean to say that they're not going through a similar process of understanding their world, of making decisions. I'm trained in Myers-Briggs type indicators. And one of the things that was very interesting to me was looking at how people made decisions. And I had a group of solicitors in a room, and I asked them to tell me how they made decisions by standing in opposing corners. And most of them, bar two, stood in one corner. And they were all doing it based on a factual thing. It met all the criteria that you would expect from solicitors. And it's only when I challenged them did they start to move, not all to one side, but in a more balanced spectrum. I think people know this stuff. They're just not acknowledging it and talking about it. So if you live in your heart center, that's brilliant. But make sure that you're providing some balance with your head center and your gut center. If you live purely in your head, as I have done for a whole lifetime, just be mindful the chances are at some point in your life, unless you've got a medical condition, you've just closed down because it was just too painful to be really you for some reason. And therefore, those who are expressing different points of view are valid. Listen to them. And if you work from your gut, that's brilliant too. But just be mindful, just because your gut is telling you something, it doesn't make it necessarily true. It's running on a way of protecting you, of keeping you safe. And so it's really important that you understand that what you're doing is right for you. Why am I telling you all this? Because when you're experiencing something, not only are you taking it in through your five senses, but your brain is registering it in some way, and it will do it according to your preference. So if you like to understand things, i.e. you live in your head, that's where you'll take the information in. If there are any challenges to who you are, that's where you'll store it. Those of you who store in your heart, that's where you'll feel things, where you'll know whether things are right for you because you'll tune in at that point. And then there are those who go by their gut. And it doesn't matter which one you use, just that you know it and that there are another two. Because one of the other challenges that I do see when I'm seeing clients is if they're not aligned in any way, you might find yourself in an uphill battle. So I've talked about three brains here. I am very much about the nuances of the energy that we store and where we store it. So I have noticed these three places, this theory of three brains. I'm not saying it's right or true. I'm just saying what my experience is with the people I work with. And all I do is help them identify these energies and start to bring them into alignment to clear what's not working for them. If you're feeling a little bit unaligned, not quite sure who you are, a bit confused, then why not reach out for a 30-minute, no obligation chat? I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Alternatively, just check out my website to see some of the other things that I could do to help you. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery, talking three brains. Thank you so much for listening.